Welcome to the Zimbabwe Achievers South Africa launch. We just want to thank you for coming, and we hope that today we'll introduce a concept that has been very successful elsewhere. We'll introduce a partner that is very successful globally. But on the panel today, we've got Mr. Gabriel Wilson, who's the Senior Marketing Manager for MoneyGram. We've got Anton, who's the Regional Director for South and East Africa, again with MoneyGram. And on the center stage is Conrad Manza, who's the Chairman of Zimbabwe Achievers. On my immediate right is the CEO of Zimbabwe Achievers South Africa. And my name is Remittances. I've been involved with Zimbabwe Achievers since its inception in the UK about 4 years ago. So our program today involves listening to a couple of introductions and a couple of speeches by the panel. And then what we'll do is later on a session for questions and answers. I'm going to hand you over to Conrad Manza, who's going to introduce who Zimbabwe Achievers is, where it's come from, and how it's going to impact South Africa. Ladies and gentlemen, Conrad Manza.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Facilitator. My name is Conrad Manza. I'll perhaps give you a brief introduction in terms of where ZAA came from. It started in the UK about 4 years ago, as what Remittances was saying. But what we, at that time in the UK, there was a lot of negativity about being Zimbabwean in the media and in the UK itself in terms of immigration, benefits, and things like that. So what we saw is that we asked ourselves and said, what about the Zimbabweans who are doing well, who are contributing positively to the UK? Should we not recognize, or should we not highlight to the community that we are a lot of Zimbabweans that are doing a lot, contributing positively? So that's how Zimbabwe Achievers started. And we also wanted to create an event that is aspirational to the young people, that they can look forward, that they know that they are Zimbabweans who are doing extremely well. So we wanted to highlight the two things. So essentially, this is how Zimbabwe Achievers started. We have developed the concept for 4 years. It's a red carpet affair. People look forward to ZAA UK. Now, what then happened during that time in the 4 years is that we were getting a lot of demand from the millions of Zimbabweans who are in South Africa. We were getting a lot of nomination in our portal where people were saying, what about South Africa? You know, what about the Zimbabweans who are in South Africa? And when the call came in from Mr. Moyo, who had spoken with MoneyGram and etc., to say, look, let's bring the concept to South Africa. We did not hesitate because we knew that the demand was there. And the reason, again, why we are coming to South Africa, it's again very simple. We think Zimbabweans here also add value to the South African economy. We believe that the Zimbabweans, even during that time when there were problems in Zimbabwe, South Africa attracted the skilled Zimbabweans, they attracted the talent, the creme de la creme of the Zimbabweans. So most of the Zimbabwean talent is also based in South Africa. So what we wanted to, again, using the same concept, is that there might be negativity about Zimbabwe, but we're saying, look, what about the Zimbabweans who are adding value? We want to acknowledge those Zimbabweans. We want to recognize those Zimbabweans. And we also want to show even our neighbors, our fellow South Africans here, that Zimbabwe is not negative as you would want to think. There are people who are adding value to creating jobs, be it creating jobs, paying taxes. So this is what Zimbabwe Achievers is about, and this is the reason why we're bringing South Africa to ZAA to South Africa. So we are hoping to get a lot of support, not only from the Zimbabweans here, but also looking to gain support from the South Africans as well. So it's something that we really want to emphasize in terms of, we're not coming to throw a birthday party in someone's house, but we also want to make sure that when we are saying, look, these Zimbabweans are here to act positively to the community. So essentially, that's the reason why we're doing ZAA SA. So without further ado, I know the logistics, and if you have any questions, I'll be happy to take them. And then later on, my colleagues will share in terms of logistics and how the whole event is going to go about. And without taking much further time, I also want to thank MoneyGram, who believed in the concept with us 4 years ago, and for Mr. Wilson and Mr. Anthony here for extending that offer in South Africa. So I would really like to thank you, gentlemen, for coming on board. So ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much. Hopefully we'll gain a lot of support from you. So thank you.
Thank you, Conrad. Our next speaker on the panel is Anton, who's going to introduce the MoneyGram concept and how it's been working successfully for Zimbabweans and other nationalities who are moving money across borders. Ladies and gentlemen, Anton.
Invited guests and friends of the media, thanks very much for this opportunity. First of all, from our side, we are absolutely delighted and excited to be the headline sponsor for this first inaugural event in South Africa. We've been associated with the event in the UK for quite a number of years. I think we sponsored it for 4 years. So there has been a history, with us and the organisers of this event. So from our side, it was a natural sort of extension of trying to come to South Africa and launching it in South Africa. And I think the valid reasons were mentioned why South Africa. I think everybody would want to recognize people who are successful, and we're happy and glad to be associated with an event of this nature. MoneyGram is a leading payment company, and we currently in around about 340,000 or close to 340,000 locations in 200 countries across the world. We're headquartered in Dallas, Texas in the US, and currently we on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange, or listed on the Nasdaq Stock Exchange, and there's approximately 2,500 employees working for MoneyGram throughout the world. In Africa, we have an office in Johannesburg, we have an office in Lagos, Nigeria, we have an office in Morocco, and watch the space, there will be more announcements in terms of how we want to move closer to our customers in future. In Africa, MoneyGram Services is offered around 24,000 locations, and in South Africa in particular, we're close to 1,000 locations via our current agent partners, Bidvest Bank, First National Bank, and Standard Bank of South Africa. So we really appreciate the patronage of our customers and the hard work that the agents currently are doing, and really this is an opportunity for us to really just say thank you, and it's one of the ways that we would like to get involved and say thank you to our customers. Sam Walton, one of the famous American entrepreneurs, and I'm going to quote, just extend the quote here. He said that appreciate everything your associates do for business. Nothing else can be quite a substitute for few well-chosen, well-timed, sincere words of praise. They're absolutely free and worth a fortune. And I think it's with that in mind that we are involved, and when we were approached, it was quite a natural sort of yes answer with in trying to get involved, because we want to, and as I said, we all would love to celebrate success in all walks of life. When I look at the listed nominees or the categories, it really is quite broad. One of the things that I've looked at was that there was some of the community-based, and that is one of the things that I think successful people do. They sow seeds that benefit others, and I'm glad to see that one of those categories, while there's a few categories, in fact, and I think there will probably be more details extended later on in terms of that, but that is something also that is very close at heart from a MoneyGram perspective. So in the preparation of, in terms of this event, we've come across a lot of migrant workers that probably some time ago had to sleep on the streets when they moved over here, in particular Zimbabweans. They had to go through a difficult time to get licenses and documents and requirements in order to start working here. And today they are successful and contributing to society here, as well as from an economic perspective. And it is really from that perspective that we're looking forward to November to see, you know, the individuals and the categories that we will be celebrating. We would like to thank today, you know, our agent partners, as I said earlier on, Bidvest, First National Bank and Standard Bank, for their commitments in growing our brand in South Africa. And just from our side, I'd just like to thank you all for coming, and I'm pretty much sure that we would be taking a few questions from you in a short while. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anton. Next on our list is the CEO of Zimbabwe Achievers South Africa, Richard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming through to this exciting event for us as Zimbabwe Achievers Awards in South Africa. My colleagues have mentioned the history of the event and where ZAA is coming from, so I'll not dwell too much on that. Rather, I'll focus on this inaugural event, which will aptly be named the MoneyGram Zimbabwe Achievers Awards South Africa 2014. MoneyGram has come on board, and we would again like to extend our appreciation to Anton, Gabby, and the rest of the team at MoneyGram. We're really excited to have them as a partner. They're a global brand, they are big business, but they understand that celebrating achievement is part of growing the business, so we would like to extend our gratitude to MoneyGram. The event itself, we're looking to have it in 2014. Conrad mentioned that this is going to be a red carpet affair. We would like to have to celebrate the top achieving Zimbabweans that are based here. Anton mentioned that there's a Zimbabwean story to be told in South Africa. A lot of people came here, you know, looking for something, chasing an economic dream, and some people have found it. Others are still in pursuit of it. So it's both celebrating those who have achieved it, but also encouraging those who are still looking for it to aspire towards, you know, being a top achiever. You know, there's a lot of migrant workers here. A lot of us came here looking for opportunities, and you know, where you've been fortunate to find those opportunities, I think it's important for celebration of those of our colleagues who are doing well. And it's really a Zimbabwean story in South Africa. The two countries are intricately linked. We are not trying to reinvent a Zimbabwean situation here. We are in South Africa, and we would like to, you know, appreciate those that are doing well, adding value to the South African economy and also to the South African community. Some of the categories that we have, for example, include the Community Organization of the Year and the Community Champion of the Year. Those are people who are locally doing things to further the advancement of other people, whether it be local South Africans or foreign nationals from everywhere else. Zimbabweans are not the only foreign nationals that are here. There's a whole host of other countries, and our common denominator is that all of us are here in South Africa looking for opportunities. We also have got entrepreneurship awards, male and female entrepreneur of the year, for example, lifetime outstanding contribution and academic excellence award. So the event is really looking to celebrate the top achieving Zimbabweans. We're looking to have it sometime in November. So in the next 3-4 months, we're going to be doing a lot of canvassing for the media. So thank you for the media partners who come. Some of our media partners are here. We're looking to get the word out there. We're looking to have a night of glitz and glamour. It's going to be one night of just explosion and celebrating the Zimbabwean story in South Africa. You know, we are looking to have MoneyGram obviously being there and being in the run-up to the event. We're also going to be working closely with our partners to ensure that more Zimbabweans get to know about MoneyGram and the service and how they can benefit from using MoneyGram. We've used it often to send money back home, and it's a service that I think a lot of our people can benefit from. So in a nutshell, that is the Zim Achievers 2014. We're looking forward to it. We are going to engage more with the media. There's going to be announcements in the future as to when the nominations. We're going to open nominations, and we'll bring the media back and announce the people that have been nominated. We're going to allow for voting to take place, and then we'll announce obviously the winners on the night. So in a nutshell, that's a South African event. It's going to be very similar to what has been done in the UK. The template is very similar. We're not going to try and reinvent the wheel. We have a larger community of Zimbabweans in South Africa than anywhere else in the world. So we're looking to get Zimbabweans involved. We're hoping that people will come out in numbers and be celebrated. But thank you for coming out. We thank the team, the Zimbabwe Achievers team. We thank MoneyGram, our sponsors, our media partners. We look forward to seeing you in November. If you don't get a ticket in time, I will not be able to help you. I will have that on record. Thank you.
Hi. Thank you. That was a very, I think it's given us a good background. My name is Casey. I'm from Expatriate African Professional Magazine, one of the media partners of the event. For our benefit and the benefit of my colleagues in the media, I just have a couple of questions. The first one is, in terms of these awards, who is Zimbabwe? If, for example, you have people who migrated here and have children who are Zimbabweans, are they counted as Zimbabweans if they hold a South African ID? You know, you always get this with various nationalities. You know, who's South African, who's African, who's Zimbabwean, who's what? The other question is, and I like Richard, you've covered, you gave us a good brief on the awards, but there's a couple of them that I think maybe you should just give us clarity on. There's that Friends of Zimbabwe, what does that award entail? And we have another one, the People's Choice Award. What does that mean? Thank you.
Thank you, Casey, for the question. I guess I'll probably answer the first one, who is Zimbabwean. This is, as you rightfully stated, there are children also who were born in South Africa by Zimbabwean parents. And like I perhaps said earlier on, it's something that is all-encompassing. Anyone who recognizes themselves as Zimbabwean, they could be first generation, second generation, are more than welcome to take part in the event. And especially like a category that you mentioned, the Friend of Zimbabwe Award. This is someone where we are saying they don't have to be Zimbabwean, but they are contributing somehow to the Zimbabwean cause in South Africa. So it could be from anyone, it could be from Uganda, Kenya, Nigeria, it could be or a local South African. So they do vary. So just sort of like to give you an overview, and we do have a similar question in the UK, who is Zimbabwean. Anyone who identifies themselves as Zimbabwean, they could be born in South Africa or born in Zimbabwe, as long as they identify themselves. So they could hold any citizen. Some people might hold South African citizenship. Some might hold British citizenship, as long as they recognize themselves as Zimbabwean. I don't know if you want to add more to that. Yeah. People's Choice. People's Choice.
So the People's Choice Award is basically more on the popularity of the person. This is going to be an award that is strictly going to be chosen on the votes received. So this award is open to either media personalities, sports personalities. This person can cut across the categories. So it's really somebody who the Zimbabwean community deem as popular, someone who is believed to be championing whatever cause. It could be in any industry, any faculty. This one is pretty much going to be votes based. So the more votes you get, you stand a chance to find yourself perhaps walking away with the People's Choice Awards. I don't know, Casey, if you're considering running. Perhaps you should.
Yeah, my name is Sombin from newszimbabwe.com. I'd like to know if there are any money to accompany these awards.
Thank you, newszimbabwe.com. Please don't quote me on this. No, look, the awards are basically to recognize and acknowledge the work that the individuals do. Like I was saying off the record, I'll speak to MoneyGram, but as from previous awards, there is no monetary attachment to the award. But however, what we've noticed in the past is something that you can use for your to market your company. If you've won the award, then is that to mention that you are an award winner and you've been recognized by ZAA. So I don't know if that answers you, but please don't quote me again on that. So thank you.
Who will vote for these people? Will it be members of the public, or is there an esteemed panel of judges who will be doing the voting?
Thank you, Trevor. So the voting will be open to members of the public. We will have a panel of judges who will then look through the nominees, and there's a process that will, there's a background process that will take place upon receiving the nominations. But ultimately, this is a celebration of Zimbabweans by other Zimbabweans. So it's being celebrated by your peers, and the voting and the awards will come largely from the public. We will have a panel and a process that will screen and ensure that the votes that come through are audited and they're accurate, and that there's no tampering with the vote. So there will be a panel process, but the larger process of this event will be votes driven.
Thank you, Trevor. Perhaps to add to that, sort of give you an overview of the process of how it works. The nomination process in South Africa will open on the 1st of July via the website www.zimachievers.co.uk. Now, what we do is that's then open for people to nominate. We don't ask that you're Zimbabwean. When you're nominating, anyone can nominate whoever they feel deserves to be. You can nominate KC to go the popularist people's choice if you like. Yeah, but we would, once you go on the website, you nominate. This process will be open for about 6 weeks, so we'll engage the community more. It's very, very important that it's a community-driven award ceremony. For 6 months, people will be nominated. Now, together with our researchers, we'll then create a long list. And then from that long list, the panel of judges, the esteemed panel of judges, that will be selected from community, from industry experts, if you want to call it this way. These panelists would also be, they don't have to be Zimbabwean, there will be also our friends from South Africa and our friends from other countries as well. So the judging panel would include a broad spectrum. So once we've created that shortlist, they will then announce, they will then do a shortlist. So once that shortlist is done, we'll do another event, which hopefully you'll be able to attend, where we're announcing who's really made the shortlist. Once that shortlist is announced, again, we take it back to the community and say, can you help us choose who you think is going to be the winner based on the profiles that is provided on the website. And then from there, again, the panel judges look at the votes. They do the due diligence, make sure that everything else is on, the profile, the voting and everything else meets the standards. Once that is done, then the winners will be announced at the awards dinner in November. So that's sort of like the process on selecting the winners. It is very much community-based, and hopefully people can, everyone can take part in choosing or helping us see who are the achievers in the community. So thank you.
I'm Policy Member from the Zimbabwe newspaper. When you say Zimbabwe Achievers 2014, are you looking at maybe a particular timeline, time frame whereby this person should have achieved between this and this month, or it goes back a long way back, because the Zimbabwean community has lived here in South Africa for a very long time? Are you looking at a particular time frame or general?
Generally, for most of the categories, we tend to look at the previous 12 months of activity. So from the time that the voting, the nominations are open, we look back 12 months. So when you're nominating somebody that has made significant contribution in the previous 12 months. However, some of the categories, for example, lifetime of outstanding achievement, that goes through people that have a consistent level of contribution through their lives. So that's a slightly different category, but in most other instances, we tend to look at the previous 12 months.
Who is to attend the ceremony? Is it open to members of the public or just a select few? And by members of the public, will it just be Zimbabweans allowed, or will any South African be allowed to attend the ceremony?
Thanks, sir. So the ceremony will be open to all. We will obviously have ticket sales at the opportune time. We will open ticket sales, hopefully through one of our ticket sales partners, and anybody can attend, Zimbabwean, South African, from wherever. The nominees obviously will be there, hoping that they can scoop an award on the night. MoneyGram and our partners will be there. So it will be a celebration really of people that have been voted through by community members, and every member of their community will be open to attend. We're hoping that the ticket prices will allow for as many people to come through. It's going to be a prestigious event, so we're going to have it at a very posh venue somewhere in the city of Johannesburg, and we're looking to have as many people coming through as is humanly possible.
Sorry, just to perhaps add to what you're saying, it's very important that it's not recognized. I mean, it is Zimbabwe Achievers Awards as the name, but however, we are saying these are Zimbabweans who are working with alongside South Africans and alongside other nationalities. So it's important that it's an all-encompassing event. It's very important that we are in the process of getting the South African government involved in terms of endorsement and attending the event. So we are very much looking forward that it's not a Zimbabwean event for Zimbabweans just by Zimbabweans. We're saying it is Zimbabweans who are in South Africa that are adding to the South African adding positively to the South African cause. So essentially, it's for everyone. We would love to see South Africans there. We would love to see Namibians and other nationalities that could attend. So hopefully I answered that.
What measures do you have in place to make sure that the real winner gets the prize? Do you have auditors or maybe some strong measures that will make sure that we get that list was being presented to you?
You can rest assured we have not signed up Nikuvo to help us with the counting. Right. The process is auditable. If people really want to find out how we do it, we have a template that we've been using over the years. We've been thinking along the lines of actually engaging an independent auditor to verify and double check. But as I say, the main issue is that the procedure is there, the process is there, we've used it, we've tested it, we've tweaked it and improved it. It is auditable, it is verifiable. However, I might add that the actual selection of the winners, of course, we engage the community, we involve the community, but as Conrad mentioned, there is a process of validation and checking. So whoever is nominated, it is the role of the panel to just double check and make sure. So they will check the profile, they'll do a bit of background check over the past year for certain of the categories. So for example, business of the year, it has to be a business that has been operational for the full year, it has to be registered, it has to be a recognized legitimate business. So we have criteria for business of the year, we have criteria for all of these. So whoever is nominated in the category and is the possible winner, they go through a tick list of processes. So as a panel, we use that to double check and validate and cross check. However, we also connect with what Conrad said, the industry experts. These are people who are knowledgeable about those industries. So they have the ear to the ground, they understand the rules of the particular industries, because sometimes as a panel here, we might not know what's going on in the music industry, but we will engage with people that are really in the know, and they will give input as to who is the most deserving winner of the award. So votes do count, yes, but we balance that with the validation by industry experts, by a bit of background check, by a sift through the profiles of the people and their achievements. So it's a validated vote, if I might say, but it's also very transparent. If anybody really wants to find out how it was done, the audit trail will be available. We will make sure that you see clearly how certain people won. And also one of the key criteria that we ask ourselves is we do a sense check. If a person is nominated in a particular industry, will everyone in the industry agree that, yeah, that person deserves it? And after 4 years of using the model, we've generally managed to get it right. Everybody says, yeah.
Yes.
Yes. People in the industry will agree because they recognize their own. And everybody else will say, in some cases we've chosen seemingly unpopular winners. But when people then check and validate and see, they're absolutely right.
If I can add to, just to add to what your question in terms of Nikov and Look, what we obviously, it is community-based, but however, we also want to say that whoever is nominated deserves to be a winner. So if all the 5 people are there, all deserve to be winners. And then the person who wins on the night, obviously, like what Zeb is saying, would have gone through a validation process. But however, we believe that these are the people that we're celebrating. So we are celebrating 5 people so that we can't give awards to all 5 on the night. If they don't win that year, there's obviously next year. So it's an ongoing process. But however, the most important part of it is that we are saying all of the nominees are the actual winners. Because without the nominees, we won't have the awards. So it's not, say, looking at the winner per se, it's looking at the overall nominees. So thank you.
Are there plans to take the Zimbabwe Achievers Awards to other parts of the world?
Thank you very much. Yes, the process is ongoing. We obviously, like I said earlier on, the natural pool was in South Africa where we got a lot of nominations. Plans are also underway to maybe do it in Zimbabwe, and we have been invited in other parts of the world. But it is an ongoing process that we want to recognize Zimbabweans who are contributing positively around the world. So yes, the plans are ongoing for that.
All questions on MoneyGram. I know there are a lot of issues around remittances and moving money across borders. So maybe somebody could ask a question around that.
MoneyGram, I'm based in London. Having been in South Africa for a few days now, I've noticed that the process of sending money is quite strenuous. It's a long process, unlike in the UK. For many Zimbabweans, or the over 2 million Zimbabweans that are in South Africa, how do you encourage, or what is the process that they can follow to be able to send money seamlessly to Zimbabwe?
Thank you very much. I think that the most important point here is to mention that the regulatory framework in South Africa for sending and remitting money is a lot more onerous than in the UK, for example. It's mainly banks, bureau de chances in South Africa, for example, that is allowed to partner with a MTO and then remit money. In the UK, for example, it could potentially be a hairdresser salon or music place. It's completely different. It's a completely different environment. So that's first of all, it's totally different from what you used to. You can't just walk into a corner shop and remit money. And it's very much regulated in South Africa. So I think that's the most important point. But there are efforts from our side, continuing engagement with the regulators to try and see what can be streamlined. We're also engaging with our agent partners to see if there's potential ways of streamlining that. So, we're trying our best from a formal sector perspective in order to try and make it as seamless as possible for the customer. But it is, in saying that, it's a lot more onerous, the process, as opposed to the UK.
Just to add to that, Antoine, it is possible to send money through MoneyGram. The service is available, as you mentioned, through the agents. And, a lot of the Zimbabweans that are here are economically active. So through their banks, FNB, Standard Bank, and Bidvest, they can send money home. It's not an impossible situation. The regulation is there. It's in place to obviously do what it's supposed to do, but it's possible to send money via MoneyGram, and the service works. And having used it before several times, I appreciate the safety and the convenience of it. So despite the challenges, I think it's important to highlight that it's possible and it's very doable to send money to Zimbabwe through MoneyGram.
So as an alternative to Omala Ichak in New South Africa. Absolutely. Excellent. Okay, question over here. Use this one.
Has a date been set for the MoneyGram event in December? And what is the dress code?
quiet reach now.
That's
Okay, the official date will be announced soon. That's a highlight that you have to look out for, but it will be early in November. We would like to celebrate achievements as Zimbabwe's nation for the last 12 months. The reason why we are calling it the MoneyGram Zimbabwe Achievers Awards South Africa 2014 is that we are hoping that MoneyGram will give us 2015, 2016, 2017, and beyond. So we are hoping that this will be an ongoing process, but the official announcement on the date will be made. Conrad mentioned earlier that there's going to be an announcement of the nominees. Perhaps or at that event we'll let you know where and when the actual event will be happening. As for the dress code, you won't go wrong with the red.
Yeah, just also want to find out when can we start nominating people for the event? Is it going to be like after the announcement of the prestigious day, or nomination can start now, or like what the time span for the nomination period?
So the nominations are going to open officially on the 1st of July, and we are looking to run that for a period of about 6 weeks. So nomination will go on. There will be various ways through which you can nominate: social media, the website. There's going to be an SMS portal as well, where people can send their nominees. All of this will be made available through our media partners. We'll ensure that we get the word out on how you can go about the nomination process.
Thank you. In regards to the nominees, maybe from the interest from the public, I'm understanding that the people that should be nominated must essentially be resident in South Africa and in Zimbabwe. If that's not so, I say it in the context of people like, you've got a category like musician of the year. It's easy for me to nominate Oliver Mtukudzi because all of us will always nominate him in any part of the world. But as long as he's not resident in South Africa, then I must be nominating someone who is resident in South Africa, at least in the past year. Understanding that right.
Yeah, thank you for that. It's a very good question. Yes, I guess you are right in terms of we'll be looking at some people who are residents in South Africa. We had a similar thing in the UK as well, where we we know that music cuts across borders. I mean, you can't stop it and say it ends here and starts here in South Africa. But however, we also wanted to initially highlight the South African-based musicians, and so most of the all the categories in the ZA SA edition will be looking at people who are resident in South Africa.
Thank you. Just a second question to remind us. Have you found this relationship to be fruitful with ZA in the past? I believe that this is a continued relationship from the past relationship with different locations.
Absolutely. I think that I've mentioned earlier on that for us we saw it as a continuation of that, and I think that we've been involved for about 4 years already with ZA in the UK. So yes, definitely that it has been fruitful for us. And again, when we talk about celebrating success, I think that everyone would want to be involved when it comes to success and celebrating success, and certainly it is a platform for us also to get to understand what the achievements that the Zimbabweans have achieved in South Africa, and quite frankly at this point in time I don't know. So it is a good opportunity for us to get involved, and yes, it is a continuation and it has been fruitful for us in the past.
I wanted to find out what the ongoing value for MoneyGram is. Beyond just the association with the event, is there an opportunity to continue to engage with the Zimbabwean community beyond the event? Is there a database that they get access to? Yeah.
Can I just comment on that? Our website, the Zim Achievers UK website, he receives a phenomenal amount of hits. So over the years, it's been growing at a rate of about 25% per year. And I'm not sure about the figures this year, but last year we had as many as 300,000 hits on the site. And every one of those hits sees the MoneyGram banner. So it's an opportunity to showcase the MoneyGram's involvement with the Zim Achievers. So from our angle, we see it as an opportunity for MoneyGram to participate. However, for MoneyGram as well, I'm speaking for but it's an opportunity to engage with the Zimbabwean community, to get to understand us better, and therefore offer services that are relevant and pertinent to our specific needs. But maybe I'm speaking for.
I think that comes down to the understanding of our customers and getting closer to our customers. And again, I have to say that it's part of sharing success. It is something that we as a company, obviously would want to be involved in, and it's an inaugural event in South Africa. And wow, it really is something that we are looking forward to. And so November come, the red carpet and the red dresses, we're looking forward to that.
My name is Ugo. I work with MovieNets. I'm marketing the product of MoneyGram for a long time right now. My question is directed to the MoneyGram because marketing this product, you may go to the Zimbabweans who actually need the product, and at the end of the day, after explaining to them the procedures they go through at the bank, at the end of the day, we have a lot of competitors out there who are as well sending money, and sometimes they make it easier, you understand, without even obeying the laws and the rules of the SARS. And at the end of the day, you see as if they are taking us out of business. You understand? We cannot, kick them out of the business, but we know we can make it more lucrative and attract more people to us. Is there anything that can be done, to get those people, because there are a lot of people, opening businesses every day, trying to, get the customers, mostly Zimbabweans, out of the market of MoneyGram. Thank you.
I can feel your frustration, and sometimes we tempted to feel the same way. But the truth about it is that as a global company, we like to work within the ambit of the law and regulations. So one thing for sure, you should trust that every time, whichever regulations in whichever country, sometimes they don't go for us, but as long as it is their regulation, we are going to work within those regulations. Now, stepping back, what we try to do that in the midst of all these other constraints, we try to look at product and services that gives a bit more convenience to customers. So we work with, say, FMB, and we've got MoneyGram services available on your mobile phone, on your ATM, something that the others do not have. We'll be looking at other alternative channels that will make our services a bit easier. Anton alluded to it earlier, that we've been engaging also with the Reserve Bank on how we can work together to see how some of those regulations can be reduced to make them less stringent. But until these change, we are bound to work within the regulations as is. So I'm looking forward to a day where, like Conrad said, you can walk to the saloon as in the UK and be able to send. And we firmly believe that that day is closer than you think. So just watch this.
When you look at MoneyGram, most of the people out there who do send money home in Zimbabwe are ordinary people who, when they look at MoneyGram, think it's maybe present for those who are rich, like going to the bank. Those people we have what is called Mukuru.com. We have some saloons where you just go there, you send the money, it's there within a few minutes. Now, what is MoneyGram doing to demystify itself, especially with ordinary Zimbabweans?
That question comes a little bit more premature in the sense that there's a lot of things and projects that we're currently working on. So unfortunately, I'm going to have to say that you're going to have to watch the space, but we understand and the frustration of consumers and customers, and that's one of the feedbacks that we've got, and we have taken that, and there are certain product advancements and changes that we will be introducing hopefully in the future and very soon. And there's also some other developments probably that we will allow us to change the way we currently have got used to doing business in South Africa. So watch the space, and I know that you have probably a hate to be left in the air, not getting a sort of inclusive answer. But unfortunately, there's a lot of regulatory sort of issues that need to be addressed, which we're currently doing. And I don't have that answers right now for you. But certainly we've recognized the consumer need, and we certainly will be addressing that in future. Thank you.
Just like to say thank you for making time to be here. Like all the speakers have alluded to, issues of migration often, the reporting of issues of migration is usually on the negative side. But we are happy for this vehicle that will allow us to talk about the positive sides of migration. So we look forward to the Red Carpet event in November, and then we hoping to see you. But also, as the marketing person, just like to add that if you need to send money home, remember that MoneyGram is just around the corner. Thank you very much.
I'm going to share with you a quote from John Maxwell in terms of how he defined success. And he said that successful people, first of all, know their purpose in life. They grow to their maximum potential. And lastly, they sow seeds that benefit others. And this really encompasses exactly why we are part of this event. And I can't wait for November. The one thing that I would just like to get advice on is you've given advice for the dresses, and you haven't given advice for us to wear. So hopefully we'll get that soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Anton. Yeah, I mean, look, you won't be. It will be a black tie event. So just start getting your tuxedo cleaned up. Yeah, so ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, I would like to thank you for taking time to come today. It is very important that we engage the media, engage the community in trying to elude or try to pass this message across about ZAA. But it is very important to state that the ZAA is a community-based event. We want to engage as much as possible, but it's also very important, especially on the South African ZAA, to know that like what my colleague was saying, Gabby, there, that it's normally you hear negativity about immigration in Zimbabwe, but you know, ZAA we want to highlight the positive side that the Zimbabweans bring to South Africa, the positive contributions, the adding value to the South African economy and way of life. So it is very important that we acknowledge that. So we want to acknowledge the Zimbabweans. So to wrap up, we look, hopefully we'll have as many Zimbabweans encouraging others to also attend and encouraging others to be successful and contribute positively to the host, to our host nation, which is South Africa. So essentially, ZAA is about encouraging Zimbabweans to contribute positive to South Africa. So thank you.
Thank you. I think for me is to really extend further appreciation to MoneyGram as our headline sponsor. We're looking forward to hosting the MoneyGram Zimbabwe Achievers Awards South Africa 2014 and hopefully extending this further and really celebrating the South African story, which is the Zimbabwean story, which is found in South Africa. There's a lot of positivity that I believe we'll be able to draw out of countrymen who are here doing well, contributing positively towards the community here, but also to also drive the MoneyGram brand. I think from our mandate also is to ensure that the MoneyGram brand, some of the myths and the demystification of the MoneyGram brand is a service that is affordable, it's usable to the ordinary Zimbabwean, and we would like to get that across as we continue to partner with MoneyGram in hosting this inaugural 2014 MoneyGram Zimbabwe Achievers Awards. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us today. My goodness. I should stop supporting us, our African teams. I tried to switch to Spain and look what it did to my voice as well. But anyway, viva Spain. I just want to thank the members of the panel, particularly MoneyGram, for sponsoring this event and for partnering with us over the years, and for the ongoing partnership that we anticipate will come over the coming years. Thank the panel as well. I just want to say thanks to the back team, the back office team. There are people that are running around in the background making things happen today. I just want to thank you individually. And of course, you, the members of the press, members of the community, people that really know what's going on and therefore are well placed to assist us identify and recognize Zimbabwean talent, Zimbabwean excellence, Zimbabwean achievement, and just being Zimbabwean. We just want to thank you very much for coming, and we hope that on a certain day in July, you will flood the site. And on another certain day in November, we will paint Joburg red and gold, but red. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. There's teas, coffees outside, and another opportunity to mingle and maybe ask more detailed questions if you want to find out a bit more. And I can also explain my frustration with the African teams in Brazil.